All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble, of course. Unpause and repause, just to make sure it doesn't start up, so I don't have to see myself in triplicate. We've got a full docket today. We'll also be talking a little bit about SCOTUS first. I don't have anything on that actually on the news docket, but just an update for people that don't know. The Supreme Court is currently reviewing the endless, limitless injunction policies of lower courts and seeing whether or not they're actually allowed. And they could issue a nuanced decision, a watered-down decision. It's not entirely clear. They might base it on like what the case is about, what the specific problem is. The Trump administration is raising objection to the policy, and so we're on Supreme Court watch as well. I would side with the Trump administration on this aspect of the case. It technically deals with birthright citizenship. Is that the law of the land or not? Really, it has to do with injunctions against Donald Trump's declaration that birthright citizenship isn't actually a thing. But that has to go before the Supreme Court. He can't unilaterally decide that. Technically, the lower courts are justified. It's just that they're trying to issue permanent injunctions against the decision itself without, in some cases, any real meaningful legal backup. And so the Supreme Court is going to be imminently deciding on whether that's acceptable or not. So, yeah. We've got the Episcopal Church, and it's a horrific racism against white Afrikaners, actually, from South Africa. You know, the Boers and so forth. It is racism. Once I read part of their statement, you'll see it. I couldn't believe this. I made a video this morning on the topic, but I also wanted to add it to the live stream because it's so massively funny and important. A.G. Sulzberger, a free people need a free press. This is from the New York Times. I agree with this, but as you will see, the free press is a little bit different from the way the New York Times generally would be defining it. All hail Sheikh Trump, the peaceful. The president has a unique affinity for the Arab world. Good. We could use a little bit of peace breaking out. You know, if we do that, we'll hook a dynamo up to John McCain's grave and we can power a good-sized city with his spinning. Trump's embrace of Syria and its jihadist-turned-president, loaded language, by the way there, could reshape the Middle East. Agreed. Actually, this CNN article is, by CNN standards, actually, relatively fair, honestly. Tariffs devastated America's ports. Soon, they could face a surge from stockpiling. So, if you raise the tariffs, it's bad. If you lower the tariffs, it's bad. This one is a less fair article from CNN. It's from their business page, so this does not surprise me in the least. And also, it turns out chimpanzees not only have a sort of mutualism amongst themselves, in the sense of helping one another, getting food for someone that can't get food for themselves and stuff like that. Not only can they do that, they also use herbal medicine, which shows that they effectively have developed a civilization, and they are capable of passing down this knowledge from generation to generation. Much more intelligent. We're seeing a lot of articles about this than prior believed. Troglodytes, as they were called 100 years ago. Actually, somewhere over there, I've got a zoo manuscript. I think it was from the New York Zoo, and it shows like the troglodyte, and it has some racial connotations in it when it's talking about some of these species. I don't dare to open it because it was already kind of falling apart when I bought it. It was cheap. It was like $1 or something back in the day. Not exactly like a high collector's item or something like that, but it's funny the connotations that are given there. Back then, chimpanzees were reckoned to be basically idiotic. They're only for human entertainment. If God didn't want humans to be entertained by them, he wouldn't have put them on this earth and made them easy to capture, which they were in large numbers and then put in zoos. It's actually sad. I do not believe in zoos, generally speaking. Wildlife preserve, that's fine. Let the animals free roam. It's just the same with farming. For instance, factory farming, I oppose. Absolutely, I think it should be banned outright. But if somebody wants to raise a dozen chickens in their backyard and they're happily clucking away and producing eggs and shit like that, well, they're protected by a fence, presumably. They're less likely to be predated upon. They're actually living the life when you think about it. Pilgrim Media, those Episcopals embarrass themselves and the USA. Yeah, they really made a mistake with this one. Unmitigated disaster for public outreach. Virtual Face World. All right, everyone, now it's time to talk about clankers.net. Do you want to share news, stories, and bants in an online forum specifically built for fans of this live stream? Join clankers.net. I'll have to make an account there too, mainly to troll people. Copium poppies. Does anyone happen to have a couple ancient Greek obol coins they would like to sell? We need them for an art project and would prefer not to generate images via AI if we can help it for authenticity's sake. I don't have any ancient Greek coins. I've got some modern Greek coins and some from like the Cold War era. Let's get to the Episcopal Church first. Yes. Episcopal Church refuses to resettle white Afrikaners, citing moral opposition. In a striking move that ends a nearly 4 decades-old relationship between the federal government and the Episcopal Church, the denomination announced on Monday that it is terminating its partnership with the government to resettle refugees, citing moral opposition to resettling white Afrikaners. They literally say the quiet part out loud. We'll get into that. From South Africa, who have been classified as refugees by President Trump's administration. So let me get this straight. The Episcopal Church is so stupid that they believe that literally citing race as an issue and why they will no longer cooperate with the government on a program that they've maintained for larger than some of our lifetimes. I mean, this would be like roughly my lifespan so far. You think that this is good for, public relations. That's number one. Number two, it's blatantly racist. And number three, now you've got a bunch of people, some of which are fucking Episcopals themselves, calling for the church to lose its tax-exempt status as a result of this. I agree with this. The church has quite clearly made a sweeping political decision which is based on politics, sociopolitics, and is also blatantly racist. Oh, well, if a black South African comes, we'll resettle them. That's fine. This has also happened in the past. The Episcopal Church has engaged in this program for some time. But now that white people are the ones that are being classed as refugees because they're being politically persecuted, having their land taken, and being routinely butchered en masse by mobs of terrorists, no, that's not a persecuted group. They don't qualify for refugee status. We have a moral opposition to helping them. I mean, imagine the gall. Imagine how stupid the Episcopal leadership had to be to issue this particular letter. Link in the description, archived, of course, but you can take the actual letter is sublinked there. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be insane. Like, I know a lot of people have issues with, their public presentation. For example, I choose to dress as a pirate all the time. Funny story about that in a moment, by the way. But, imagine the sheer amount of insanity that you have to believe that the average reasonably sane person in public is going to react to this letter in a positive manner. You have to be insane to believe that. I'm sure that I pointed this out this morning, I'm sure that on Sunday, when people are going to church, there will be less people in the pews. And some of those people in the pews will be angry and will ask loaded questions of their parish ministers. Say, why is the Episcopal Church turning its back on this group simply because of the color of their skin? Or because more like a orange man bad, the Trump administration got involved and declared them unilaterally to be refugees. And then, a lot of these people are going to look up, what's an Afrikaner? Because they don't know. What is this about African refugees and stuff like that, from South Africa? And then they're going to find out about the farm killings. And then they're going to find out about the land confiscation bill. And then they're going to find out about all the other political persecution that's happened. They're going to say, how is this different from apartheid? It's basically the same thing. If anything, it's apartheid on steroids. By the way, speak of the devil, here's Anton. I hope you saw that article and the video this morning with regards to the Episcopal Church. And so we're going to raise a glass of Bovrite. to you and yours, and to the nation of South Africa, and all of the white farmers down there that are being unfortunately slaughtered on a regular basis. It's pretty bad. I've known plenty of people from South Africa. I don't think that anyone believes that it is a stable nation anymore. Yeah, I agree, King of Biltong. The Episcopals used to have a little bit of my respect, but I think there's something in the water, I guess. They drank too much fluoride or something. Pilgrim Media. I bought the same hat on eBay from India. Yes, this is made in India, actually. It's very high quality, though. I really, really love it. Now, to the pirate story, right? This is just a bant before I get to the next news story. Oh, by the way, first, let's shout out our sponsors. I decided to move it to the beginning of the show, generally speaking. We have cultivated-mind.com. You can get Doggy Dose for your doggos. It'll improve their health overall. It's got 6 double bioactivated mushroom extracts in it. And for you, you can always get Radiant Energy or Immune Renew. I don't have a packet of it right by me, sorry. Or you can get Brain 2. Brain Squared is what it's technically called. And it's good stuff. I take it every day. I took my mushroom pills. That's why I'm more coherent. If I forget them, I notice that I don't speak as clearly, actually. I guess I'm getting old. As George Carlin would say. Secondly, of course, we have BiltongUSA.com. Use code STICKS for 10% off. You can get delicious biltong, and now, apparently Anton is also selling goji berries. These are also called wolfberries. And I'm definitely going to be eating all of those because wolfberries, they taste so good you have no idea. He can sell you both right. He's got biltong of various kinds. We've also got Sticks, Hex, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts available as well. And finally, last but not least, we got jamandbean.com. That is jamnbean.com. Again, I can't show you the coffee right now because I'm on the last bag. Please send more. I've still got some of the tea here, though. This is, which one? This is the Yunnan Jig. This is amazing. It's got caffeine in it, unlike some of the teas. Some of them are herbal. This one's caffeinated. Imagine the black tea that you always ate in the Chinese restaurant, but it's 10 times better. It's fresh, it's refreshing, and give you a little bit of kick in the ass, get you going during the day. King of Biltong, replying to Moscovich, 100%. South Africa was the only nuclear power in the world that willingly gave up our capabilities. Technically, Brazil is on that list. I don't think they ever developed it fully, but they did dismantle their program willingly. So, kind of. You are mostly right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the pirate story I was going to get to. Yeah, don't worry, I won't forget it. The other day, when I was on the way out in the car, this huge group of school children was marching up the street. They were going to the ball field. It was like the baseball team. And it was hilarious. They're all waving at me and shouting about piracy and stuff like that. So I'm waving out the window like it's a parade procession. It was great. People love the fucking hat. They absolutely adore it. Like, I've gotten hundreds and hundreds of people that have complimented me on the hat. And when I pair it with the pirate jacket and the leather boots, it sort of completes the look, and I usually carry around an artillery sword, so I think some people think I'm cosplaying or something like that. I'm like, nope, I actually dress this way. And the other day, somebody saw me coming out of the Tennybrook Marketplace and snapped a picture of me and put it on social media, and it said, a fucking pirate in Rutland, Vermont. So, yeah, I've officially become the Rutland Pirate. That's what I'm talking about. I'm cool. For the first time in my life. Copium Poppies. I, for one, am glad South Africa sucks and Anton had to come here. Otherwise, I would never have tried biltong, and that's not a world I want to live in. Yeah, see, there's always a silver lining to every cloud. Sacred Cafe. What is a ghost pirate's favorite kind of tea? Boo tea. Oh, God. Crow Minion. Yep, we're all Goonies too. I may be a clanker, but I'm also a Goonie. And I'm very proud of it. You think that I'm gonna give up the coolest look that I've ever had? I can bare my chest and wear a tricorn hat, and I'm all in black leather, and so I'm like a vampire and shit. I love it. Arr, matey. Let's see. A.G. Sulzberger, free people need a free press. Now, this article, it does make a proper point, which is that the press needs to be independent. They do not need to be controlled by the state and stuff like that. And ironically, Donald Trump, when he targets NPR and PBS, which are not independent because they're taking federal funding, isn't he kind of promoting this? That's the first thought that I had. The second thought that I had is an interpretation of the First Amendment. The press does not mean you have a piece of paper in your fucking tricorn hat, although they're not cool enough to wear tricorn hats. They have different ones. That says press. That's not what the press means. The press literally refers to the printing press. The right of the press to operate independently and express itself has to do with the ability to publish literature. And by extension, under the Supreme Court's general acknowledgement over the years, that extends to digital and other means of communication. Free speech is in person. Free press is anything not in person of a communicative manner. This has been fairly legally established on numerous occasions. Literally, originally, it referred to those old wooden-framed printing presses that were already better than the original presses that had been made in the Renaissance, by the way, showing that the founders had an acknowledgement of technological progress, hence the Supreme Court decisions. So, right now, I'm engaging in press activities. So, yes, I agree with you. I should be fully independent. Say whatever I want to say. Distribute any information that I feel is pertinent to people. But the New York Times doesn't acknowledge that. It's funny. You see constant derision sowed amongst people that do independent content creation as though we're not members of the press too. It doesn't matter if I'm replicating another person's article, or whether I'm just giving an opinion on something, or whether I'm doing in-person journalism and reporting. As some content creators do. I tend to do more the analysis side, but some of them, they go out with camera crews and shit. They are engaging in activities of the press. They are explicitly protected not just on the free speech level, but also on the free press level. Yes, we need a free press. We need media to be independent. Then I thought to myself, didn't a lot of these groups that are supposedly free press get, encouragement, coercion really, from the Biden administration? Yeah, they did. It's actually been acknowledged at this point. We have multiple tech titans as well saying exactly the same thing. Very interesting now, isn't it? So we need a free press, but if an administration decides to coerce them with a wink and a nudge and say, hey, it'd be terrible if your kneecaps were broken because you decided to break this news story and cover this topic, or something which pretty much happened under the Biden administration, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't violate the rights of a free press, or, stifling independent voices that aren't working for big corporations. Copium poppies. We miss the Hawaiian shirts, bathrobes, lol. The pirate hat would still work with those. The leather can't be comfortable once summer hits. It's not about comfort. It's about the way that you look. It's about the look. And, I can take, the level of heat in Vermont is a little bit different. Lord help me, though, when I go back to New Orleans, because I'm still going to be dressed this way. Maybe I will be a Hawaiian shirt pirate. I'll probably have no choice. If there's a heat wave, the Hawaiians will definitely come back, though. Let me tell you, I'm not going to sit here and pour sweat, all over myself till it looks like I'm taking a shower every moment. Moskvich. These ones are delicious, by the way. Naked sticks for the win. Sign of Jonah. Sticks. Eat candy corn. Don't make me puke up my Red Bull, please. Ice Pole. Why are you not on the quartering anymore? He took out a large loan in order to build a literal factory to make coffee. As a result, he no longer had the capability, because he has to pay his fucking debt back. He no longer had the ability to field everyone that was on the show. And so he prioritized. I think a couple of his staffers actually were let go of as well because he's got to get, new employees. And thankfully, his coffee operation, according to him, seems to be going really, really well. We're hoping that that continues. I'm sure that he'll bring me back aboard if the opportunity arises, but I have no ill will towards him because, like, I would do the same thing. It's called business. So if you don't have the money, sorry, it's like if a friend asked me for money, I would gladly give it to them. But if my wallet is empty, I can't give it to you. It is not physically possible. That which must be done has to come before that which you wish to do. I think that he would like to have a full, a series of personalities as co-hosts. Makes his job easier in some ways. But if he can't pay us, I'm not going to jump down the dude's throat. Zim the Despot. Thoughts on VTuber Kirsch being attacked by Vice and it backfiring in Vice's face? Guess having an ex-pest write that article wasn't a good idea. I haven't actually seen anything about that. Can you DM me on Twitter with that news story? No, Napalm Brothers HQ, I wasn't working for free. I did cover the value of the bail. He was paying me well. No, Quartering's a good dude, actually. His coffee's good, too. I mean, I've got my own Clank blend from Jam and Bean, but yeah, Coffee Brand Coffee. I think that they're maintaining their own production line now. I think that's the reason why he's building, like, a literal coffee factory or whatever. Chrome Minion. Sticks may be easy, but he's not cheap. Yeah, I'm a high-paid individual. And I managed to improve his life in one measurable way. I got him to drink V8. That will be important. Damn, I should have brought a V8 in here. Ah, now I'm getting a craving for it. And I don't have one around. Everyone, remind me to stock some nice ice-cold V8s here on the table for the next live stream. Damn. All hail Sheik Trump, the peaceful. Yes, indeed. Donald Trump is on a whirlwind tour of the Middle East. I think he's wrapping it up today in the UAE, actually. He was in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and so forth. And what he's trying to do is negotiate with these individuals. We'll talk about Syria separately right after this segment as well. He's trying to make peace break out there. It's sort of like his establishment of the Abraham Accords, which even the liberals were not able to really criticize. They're like, well, he's managed to get a bunch of countries to recognize the need for peace and to recognize the nation of Israel that otherwise might have attacked it, causing World War III. Well, yeah, a lot of them, they simply didn't want to talk about it. Or their articles talked about the Abraham Accords, but barely mentioned Donald Trump. That was the best that they could do to try to cover up the fact that they fucking hate him. I think he's trying to get, like, Abraham Accords 2.0 going. I wouldn't be surprised if he pivots and starts talking to the Iranians, too, and gets some sort of deal going. This would be great. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we lived in a world where people would stop slaughtering one another, killing countless civilians in the process? Sounds good to me, Some people might disagree if they're completely psychopathic, but I would like peace. I would like less violence in the world. We should be more like the chimpanzees we'll be talking about in the last segment. Apparently, they're less barbaric than humans. Chimpanzees don't run people over with tanks or create explosives solely for the purpose of vaporizing school children. We'll put it that way. I think Trump will be successful, but it will take time. So this first whirlwind tour is just one step. It's like when you want to walk across the creek and there's multiple stones you can step on. You got to get to the first stone first. Trump is now there. He's going to wrap this up. And then I have a feeling that more diplomacy will break out. And we're hoping to get a situation sort of like with the two Koreas. where Trump was so massively successful. And I really, really hope he goes back and meets with Kim Jong-un again, because he's shown a marked capability to conduct diplomacy in areas that are unstable. In fact, he conducts diplomacy better in areas that are hostile to U.S. interests than in places that usually are our friends. They're the ones that are currently rearming and saying crazy shit, like the French especially, and others. No offense to any francophone clankers, by the way. At least France has really good food. Yeah, I mean, I want to see Donald Trump go back into North Korea and meet with Kim Jong-un again. And my hope is that he is capable of causing peace to break out in the Middle East. Now, is the peace going to be lasting? That's the real question. I think he'll be successful after some time, but we don't know how long the peace will last. Because at any given moment, at the drop of a hat, literally, there was a case, and this isn't the Middle East, but it's a sort of doppelganger situation. Do you remember that one wacky story where a pet monkey grabbed a girl's skirt in a market in Libya, and then a civil war almost broke out, and there was fighting in the streets, and dozens of people died as two tribes went to war over a fucking monkey? Do you remember that? It actually happened, apparently. Of course, when you get a country with 250,000 slaves in it, anything can and does happen. One tall order. How's the tree sperm this year up in Vermont? Mostly subsided down here in Maryland, thankfully. Still sneezing my ass off, though. It hasn't been a real issue this year, thankfully. Copium poppies, candy corn, and hot chip challenge. I wouldn't survive. B-list history. Come to clankers.net. I've been posting about Jesus and harvesting wild plants. Come share your autism with me. I was sad. The other day I was hiking in the woods with my niece, and there are quite a few fiddleheads out there, but they've all gone by pretty much. Like, there's one little patch, but it's not really worth harvesting, because once you saute it off, there's not really going to be anything left, so I was sad. Oh, Geist 082, yes, I've heard about the Bucket War. I can't remember the details, but I remember reading an article about that years ago. Yeah, wasn't that a naval encounter of some sort? If I remember correctly? Yeah, the Bucket War. Oh, now Last Beacon is going to say bucket over and over again. See, you set him off. Trump's embrace of Syria and its jihadist-turned president could reshape the Middle East. Yes, indeed. Here's the thing. I would prefer to do diplomacy with somebody like Bashar al-Assad, somebody who is more of a modernized statesman. And Assad never struck me as a particularly pernicious individual at all anyway. More an antagonized person, happens to follow a minority religion, that's why he was ousted, generally speaking, who at least held his country together. Trump is attempting to reestablish that same orderliness in order to prevent further violence, I think, in Syria, which is a good idea. Because in the absence of Assad, I think he fled to Russia, actually. In the absence of Assad, and hopefully he gets restored to his position, honestly, it would be for the better. In his absence, you still need order. You can do one of two things in such a scenario. You can say, well, I don't want to work with you, and, snub them, go to war, something like that. So people die, people suffer, instability arises, you get all sorts of problems. Or you can grit your teeth and bear it and say, look, the political reality is that this person that I may not like is in power, but I still have to conduct meaningful diplomacy with them. Trump has chosen, wisely, the latter route. Alright, Last Beacon, you're getting muted for a few minutes. Yeah, stop that. Sticks, didn't the Boxer Rebellion have something to do with opium in China? I've never really studied the Boxer Rebellion, actually, so I wouldn't know. I know a lot of interesting historical facts, partially because of my dad, partially because of my grandfather, and partially because I like military history and shit like that. But I don't know anything about the Boxer Rebellion. No, I didn't cover that one. One tall order. Peace in the Middle East cannot start until I get some Iron Dome from Gal Gadot and May Calamaui, if you know what I mean. No, I don't get what you mean, actually. I don't know if that's some sort of euphemism you're using or whether those are real names, actually. Probably the former. KLCB Soft. Trump's right. Barter and trade is the way. Long before the EU shit show, there was the European Economic Community. Just trade, no politics. It worked. Yes, you have to make sure to balance that properly so you don't end up with the globalist mess that we've got. But countries, yeah, they should have amicable relations. I also believe strongly in simply shaking someone's hand when you're in their country. Show them no disrespect. If you're shown disrespect, respond accordingly. Depends on the culture. Trump has an advantage in diplomacy that most administrations do not. Namely, that he has been to many other countries, and not in a military manner. So not like, you went off to Nam or something like that. He's built buildings, he has holdings there, he's talked to officials, he's talked to politicians and judges and business leaders and stuff. And in order to successfully negotiate for business purposes, you have to understand at least the rudiments of that culture. This is why when Donald Trump responded to North Korea, people freaked out because they don't understand how North Korean culture works. It's a power culture. Kim Jong-un has to maintain absolute supremacy in order to hold his country together. So when Kim Jong-un threatened the United States, gave insult to it, the proper response was exactly what Trump did. He insulted back. Well, I've got a big red button on my desk. It's a lot bigger than yours and actually works. And almost immediately, the North Korean communication service, they put out a press and said, no, we don't want any insult or anything. We want to work with the United States. Effectively ignoring the prior insult that was given entirely, actually. And then peace broke out for a while. It was great. Donald Trump knew how to deal with them. And Kim Jong-un knows the same thing. Of course, if you continue to insult the United States, you're going to get more embargoes and shit like that, because that's the way the U.S. works. Biden never understood this. Kamala certainly wouldn't, she doesn't understand anything, so, The Emperor's Champion. The Boer refugees prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the left despises white people. You should see some of the disgusting videos people have made about it. Makes me sick. Yeah, it's true. Yes, Richard Vernadow, I actually dress like this out in public. Most people didn't believe that I would actually do that and thought this is just a get-up for making videos. Now, somebody managed to get a picture of me coming out of the Teddy Brook, and I'm dressed exactly the same in that picture. I actually dress like this all the time because I love it. I love the attention that it gets me. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, the attention is a little bit of a mood booster. Happens pretty much every day. It's like, I love the hat. Oh, wow, a real pirate. Kids will wave at me and smile and stuff like that because they think that I just came off a galleon or something like that. And it's fun. I do like Cradle of Filth. I actually paid Danny Filth on 2 different occasions on Cameo. First, to make a very, very funny video that Animator Man actually has. He's the main log poster on 4chan. Most of you won't get the reference. Posting about Andy Six's shit, basically. In which he uses terms that are associated with that meme. And he uploaded it to his channel. He thought it was hilarious. And also, I had him give my mom a birthday message once. And I included a line about raccoons in there because there's a long-running joke for like 25 fucking years that my mom is basically part raccoon. And like I'll use the term coon tax. And the coon tax is when she like will grab your French fry from you or take something from you like a raccoon, snatching things and stuff like that. Even had a a cartoon that depicted my dad as a slow adult who believed himself to be the dictator of an African nation and would sit in his sandbox and pretend to, command tanks and weird shit like that. And then my mother in the cartoon was depicted as being a cross between a squirrel and a raccoon. I was a kid at the time, but I mean, damn, I wish I had kept those cartoons. I would love to scan them in and show you all, because they were pretty funny. Copium Poppies, check out our new song, The Voice of God is Gunshot, Premature Birth Mix, as well as our first EP, Sybil the Soothsayer, which has an acoustic version of the song. copiumpoppies.com/pages/music. One Tall Order, the emo AI cover of Kanye's Heil Hitler song is hilarious if you all haven't heard it. Oh god, I'm gonna cue that up right now. I don't know if it'll come up, you never know. Yeah, of course, YouTube's not going to show it to me. You're going to have to link me on Twitter, otherwise I'm never going to find it. YouTube's algorithm has become sucky beyond your wildest dreams, basically. Emo Heil Hitler song. I'm going to look forward to this until I get that link. Tariffs devastated America's ports. Soon, they could face a surge from stockpiling. Yes, it turns out that people will tend to buy up a bunch of shit when they think that negotiations that are ongoing may cause another price hike. And so people are pulling things into port at an excessive rate at the moment. Now, the article's not technically wrong, because you're going to see that kind of stockpiling. People are going to stock up on foreign goods because the tariffs went down from 145% to 30%, I believe it was. Yeah, exactly. So there will be stockpiling. It will lead to issues at the ports. But goddamn, you can't have it both ways. Either Trump was wrong to impose the higher tariff, or Trump is wrong for lowering it too much, or something like that. It doesn't make any sense. Things will normalize. In a freer market, things will normalize faster. And it will take some time, of course, for those ships to go tooty-toot across the ocean and bring in those shipping containers. I wouldn't worry too much, though. Emo AI cover of Kanye. Dear God. Again, nothing surprises me anymore. If an asteroid were to fall out of the sky and blow up over Rutland and vaporize the entire city right now, it wouldn't surprise me. Or if aliens were to wander across the backyard, that wouldn't surprise me either. I've seen some weird things over the last couple of days. I'm just saying, things are getting bizarre. I think the timeline might be having a meltdown, actually. It's possible. Yeah, so, are the tariffs good or are they bad? Should he hold them at 145%? Because then, CNN complains, well, we can't get cheap goods anymore. Prices will rise. Okay, says Trump, I have lowered them. Oh no, the ports, they're going to get overloaded. Oh, come on, dude. You're just incapable of giving him any credit for anything that he does. Trump could run into a burning building and personally save 5 orphans, and they would say that he was depriving jobs from the fire department. Awesome Diesel, happy Friday morning from Australia, clankers, and gifted me 5 subscriptions. Thank you. I don't actually know what that means, though, honestly. Does that mean subscribers, or, like, stream notifications, or... I'm not 100% sure, actually. We're still in, Jabberjaw, JDL37, Moskvich, and Knerd. Thank you. KLCB Soft, Captain Sticks, is it true Qatar gifted you a frigate worth as much as $19.99? And will you gift the vessel to the Clankers Library? Have a nice one. Yeah, sadly, they did not give me a Lego frigate. Although I do have that Lego pirate ship. Just haven't shown it off yet. I'm thinking about letting my niece put it together, actually. I think she likes Legos. Have to ask her. I know she likes Minecraft. I was obsessed. The kids, it's funny. a lot of things have become intergenerational. Like stuff from when most of you, a lot of us are in our 30s somewhere, we're millennials. That's the core audience here. I know some of you are younger or older, but a lot of the people watching right now are millennials. It's funny because Pokemon and Minecraft became intergenerational. You'll see kids who are like fucking 10 years old and they've got like Minecraft hoodies and stuff like that, or they're trading Pokemon cards. So I find that fun. Hey, millennials contributed to the world. We actually, well, I mean, technically Gen X created these franchises, but we were the ones proliferating it. It's hilarious, actually. This doesn't normally happen. You'll have a fad like, imagine Furby or Pet Rocks or something like that. You'll have Garbage Pail Kids, I suppose, is an exception. That's still popular, actually. But for the most part, fads die out. Remember fidget spinners? Yeah, your fidget spinner is rusting in your garage or in your basement right now, probably. It seems like literally everyone had one. They banned them from schools. And by the way, schools always do this. They banned Pokemon cards at my school when I was younger. They also banned Harry Potter. And I wasn't even in a religious school. Like, well, it's going to distract kids. You're not allowed to read Harry Potter. They did the same thing when I was in, was it kindergarten or first grade? I can't remember. When Nightmare Before Christmas came out, there was this one kid, I think his name was Michael, and he had the plushie of the dog, Zero, from Nightmare Before Christmas. But then the school got concerned. They thought it was too scary for us kindergartners or first graders or whatever. So they banned him from bringing it in. They banned Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, Nightmare Before Christmas is like, who gives a shit? Oh my God, Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, what a terrifying time that is. How the times they are changing. But the schools don't change. They're still censorious as ever. Yeah. When they banned the Pokemon cards, I actually raised objection. And I tried to explain to the teachers, I'm like, at least people are reading. They're learning about, well, kind of, Japanese culture. Maybe they'll get interested in that. I tried to tell them, I tried to convince them otherwise. I was unsuccessful in this endeavor. Geist, yes, I had Pogs when I was very young. Those pretty much have disappeared. I used to have a Slammer and it had a scorpion embedded inside of it, like a real dead scorpion. It was really great. BW, hey Sticks, you feeling alright? You think Trump closes this deal with China soon? I hope the hog thing alienates Dem voters, although they are dumb, so I doubt it. I am feeling great, actually. Took my mushroom pills and weather is perfect today and going on a hike later. Maybe I'll find some berries or some shit. I don't think that the blueberries are ready yet, though. Yeah. I think that Trump will finalize some sort of deal with China imminently within the next few weeks. Because China doesn't really want to collapse. They're being pragmatic about it. Trump will have to give some way to them, but ultimately I think that the United States definitely has the superior position in negotiating. Mainly because we're the importer, they're the exporter. So the tariffs hurt them a lot more than they hurt us. We can always build our own domestic production. And I'm thinking that Trump does want to ramp that up, but again, this is a slow process. It's like, I've never been successfully able to do this, but imagine that you're driving a manual vehicle. You have to go from one gear to another. You can't just start off in the top gear and just go. You have to start off slow. And that's, I think, what he's doing. Hopefully he does this with Middle East negotiations as well as Korea. And potentially the Ukraine-Russia conflict, although that has pretty much become a stalemate. And it's exiting people's minds at the moment, so yeah. John Lincoln, manual vehicles are fun. If you can figure out how to use them. I never did. One time, my mom was insisting that I use my grandfather's Subaru, which was a manual, and try to learn how to drive manual, instead of letting me use the perfectly functional Chevy Malibu, which was an automatic. And so I started up, I get going, stall it out, and I almost slam into another car. Thankfully, it would have been a slow-speed collision. When that happened, I told my mom, I'm not doing this again. I'm never going to bother. It doesn't matter. Every vehicle now is an automatic anyway, unless it's, 20 years old or older, so there's no reason for me to use it. I'm not interested. I don't like manuals. One tall order. Sticks, here's the link. Will also replicate in Twitter DMs. All right, let me grab that link. Thank you. I'll put that in. Oh god, I'm gonna enjoy this. I mean, I won't be able to play it right now, but Sigil, we should collapse China to rid the world of commie bullshit. Should the statue of Styx also wear a tricorn hat? Vote yes or no here in the comments. I vote yes. Yeah. I don't understand why you would build a manual vehicle when automatic transmission is available anyway. What's the purpose? It doesn't even make sense. Green Terror. What, you can't drive a stick? What happened to self-improvement? You could drive a rig if you drive stick. Yeah, but, I mean, even trucks, in many cases, have automatic transmissions now. Why would I want to drive a truck anyway? Marcus Aurelius. Bro, learn to drive a truck and ride a bike. It's not hard at all. I believe strongly in self-improvement, but I don't see how learning to drive a truck improves my life because I don't intend to be a truck driver. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, being a truck driver would be kind of a cool job, because, you can get left alone for 12 hours at a time, and, then you can go to the biker bar and shit and get all muscly. So, fringe benefits to the job, I suppose. But, I like a lot of sleep. And so the grueling hours I don't think would work for me as a long haul trucker. I could do like short haul trucking. In fact, I actually applied for a short haul trucking job and almost became one, but then the YouTube thing took off, and so I never responded to them. They were offering pretty good goddamn money for Rutland standards, by the way. Sigil, driving big trucks is fun. That's why you drive one. Yeah. Oh, Chabber, you can live stream while driving a truck. Now. Yeah, I suppose. Wild chimpanzees give first aid to each other. A long-term study in Uganda offers glimpses at the origin of human medicine. Yes, it turns out the original surmising with regards to chimpanzees and their cognitive capabilities, their recognition of healing and interaction and so forth, was wildly wrong. As I pointed out at the beginning of the stream, I have an old zoo paper manuscript that talks about chimpanzees, actually, from, I think it was 1910 or thereabouts, and has racial connotations, of course. But it turns out that chimpanzees understand the rudiments of herbal medicine. That is, that they're capable of harvesting certain barks and herbs and things like that, roots, and utilizing them for a medical purpose. But they don't just do it on themselves. They also do it on other individuals. There was one instance, again, link in the description, archived of course, in which a chimpanzee had been injured and its daughter actually was capable of mixing up an herbal concoction to try to dress the wound. They've seen them sucking poison from snake bites, presumptively, out of one another, which really isn't terribly helpful, but I mean, a little bit is better than nothing, I suppose, and so forth. They will dress wounds topically, of course. They don't have a full understanding of the methodology behind the concept of medicine, but they understand behaviorally how to use it. They have effectively developed a proto-civilization. Now, I'd like them to conduct a separate study on both bonobos and orangutans, and possibly gorillas. I have a feeling that all three of them all three of those as well are capable of the same thing. So there was another instance that they list here where a chimpanzee had been caught in a snare, and another one, released them from it. We could figure out how to actually undo the snare. Did it for no point other than to take care of another chimpanzee. So it's not like, hey, if you give me 10 bananas, I'll free you or something like that, like in a video game or in a socialist country. Bonobos, I believe, are arguably more intelligent than chimps. Orangutans are very, very close. Saw an orangutan, for example, at the Audubon Zoo when I was in New Orleans the last time. The second to last, I don't know. There was an orangutan troop there, and the big male orangutan had a hammock there, and jumps into the hammock and throws a blanket over its head, and I'm like, that's remarkably human-like when you think about it. Like, it knows that it can keep warm by throwing the blanket over it. This shows a level of recognition that is beyond most lower animals. There are only a handful of species that show these marked traits. So the great apes, certain types of monkeys, to an extent, whales and porpoises and dolphins and things like that, corvids, of course, ravens, cats and dogs, and to a limited extent, other higher animals. And of course, humans stand alone as the only species on the planet that's capable of full cognition in the sense of being human. But there are other species that approximate it in ways that we're increasingly recognizing because we're finally studying these things. Again, it was not reckoned that chimpanzees could use herbal medicine. We now know that they can. They can actually create poultices and things like that. Well, this is sort of how the human race began. In a million years, chimpanzees might end up being apex because humans have wiped one another out off the face of the earth. Maybe they'll develop nuclear weapons someday. That would be interesting. Styx is whispering. Is there something wrong with my audio? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me check this. Is there something wrong with my audio, or am I being trolled? No? Okay, I'm just being trolled. Why do people always do that? Come on, dude. Come on, man. I'm gonna take you out behind the woodshed and make you do push-ups with corn pop. I'm used to getting trolled by my audience with regards to the audio and so forth. Happens all the time. Happens constantly. It's never ending. Carlos, testicles, 1, 2, 3. Sith, your audio is always typically lower by a good bit than other streams, but you're all good right now. Yeah, I do need to get like a professional recording setup going with a boom arm and everything like that. That would probably be good. The Yeti is pretty good, admittedly, but its capabilities are limited. King of Biltong, looking for some healthy snacks to add to your diet? Try our Biltong, almost 50% protein, plus it's packed with B12, creatine, iron, zinc, and much more. Go to www.biltongusa.com, code STIX for 10% off. Highly recommended. Yeah. Between the 3 sponsors, you can have it all. You wash down your mushroom pill in the morning with your coffee from Jam and Bean, while you're giving your doggy dose from Cultivated Mind, and then you eat a couple handfuls of biltong, or some of these goji berries. I love goji berries. Thank you, by the way, very much, Anton. I would love it if you included another packet in the next one, because this is not going to last very long. Yeah, goji berries, also called wolfberries. Oh, they're just fucking delicious. I'm deprived of berries at the moment because they haven't come out yet. I'm very sad. I have a feeling, though, we're going to have a bumper crop of raspberries this year, and I am going to enjoy every one of them. And I ain't sharing. I'm not giving anyone else any berries. I'm just going to eat them all. I'm going to go out there every morning and rob them, as Mom would say, coon tax them. The tax rate is 100%. I did that one summer, by the way. This is now a Bant stream, by the way, so I can ramble a little bit. One summer, I was harvesting raspberries, and by God, there were so many of them you wouldn't believe it. Right out back. I cut little paths in there and everything just to get them all. And I was gathering and gathering and gathering. And I brought bowl after bowl into the house, right? And we froze them, actually. And it turned into this delicious concoction because they got thawed out, and so they sort of liquefied, then they got refrozen, right? So we had like this liquefied raspberry mix. It was sort of like giant blocks of raspberry popsicle. Spectacular. Oh, I was eating that into the next year, actually. But as I was picking, of course, I'm eating some of them. Because why not? Everyone does that. And then I ate an entire bowl of them. Well, let's say I had some indigestion a little bit later. That's a lot of fiber, my friend. It was delicious. I mean, yeah, that was one of the most fun summers that I've ever had, actually, because also that was the same year that we grew a shit ton of cucumbers. And my mom started pickling them. And she made 400 or 500 pints of pickles, I think. It was, I mean, it took up like 2 shelves, a triple road. And there were pickled beets, there were pickled carrots, pickled everything, basically. She would go at it for like 5-6 hours at a time. And she made these curried pickles. And they were really spicy hot. Oh, they were delicious. I'm hoping to raise cucumbers this year and get some more curried pickles. Tigers are my totem. Episcopal National is different from local church, who tend to be community-based, feeding the poor, housing homeless, addiction treatment assistance, etc. So this hoodoo is somewhat overblown. The local church is local. Yes, but exactly. The national church in and of itself has ended a long-standing program that would be employed by these churches and now can't. And they literally gave a racial basis for this. They explicitly stated it. So, like, I don't have any problem with some random Episcopal person. I'm just saying that the Episcopal leadership, they really blew it on this one. Like, really, really blew it. Like, I'm sure that this Sunday is going to be a little bit chaotic in some of these churches. You know, you imagine some local minister who does get along with the community, isn't doing anything wrong, maybe is even like far right or something like that, but then they have to answer questions from parishioners about this. That's gonna not go over well. Copium poppies. That reminds me of those Mexican popsicles I had once that were literally frozen blocks of mashed strawberries. Fucking delicious. Oh, I had those. Oh, those are great. Yeah, you don't need to sweeten them or anything. You literally just mash up berries and freeze them into a block. You can use a popsicle mode. I had one as a kid. I had this set of little yellow popsicle molds, and every summer I would utilize it. There were 6 of them. And you just pour like fruit juice or something in there, and then you freeze it, and then it's a popsicle. Oh man, I loved those. Damn, I wish I still had those popsicle molds. And I had a little straw in it too, because of course you can't eat all the way down in, and then the rest melts, and then you suck it out. Yeah, those were really, really good. Yeah, I had I know the strawberry ones you're talking about. I had them in southern Texas. Sigil, plot sewing their asses again. Martin Luther been making people look like idiots for centuries now. Sif, you should try a V8 popsicle. I will. That sounds like a good idea, actually. A V8 popsicle. I'll have to get a popsicle mode. Tadzio, we have 4 cats, actually. Jenny Simon, I think it's chaos. I think it's awfully pretentious to think we are so special. Nature is brutal. I think our souls are like a signal in a radio. This is why I don't support veganism, actually. Animals in nature die horrible deaths most of the time. In captivity, assuming they're not being slaughtered for meat. So let's say you've got chickens, but you're only raising them for the eggs. You've got cows, you're only raising them for milk. Everything is much more peaceful. We're capable of ordering things that way. I support vegetarianism, but I do not support veganism. Veganism is basically, hey, we're going to abandon all these animals to go get chewed on by a wolf or something like that. Technically speaking, veganism is actually the brutal path. It would be better to be a carnivorian, because at least humans are capable of essentially lessening the pain of death for the animals that they're eating. When you think about it, an all-meat diet is technically more moral than veganism. Copium poppies. These were literally prepackaged molded popsicles, but instead of frozen juice and high fructose corn syrup, it was mashed strawberries. Had them in South Cal. Yeah, those are the ones that I had. Delicious. But I think that the raspberry slushy or whatever was created when they accidentally thawed out temporarily, they sort of fell apart into a sort of raspberry slushy or a syrup, then refroze. And I was carving off chunks of that and eating it, into the next year. One tall order. Protestantism was a mistake. Hundreds of years has shown it to be a dead end. I'd say the same about any particular organized religion. I need too much protein for veganism or vegetarianism. I'm eating again, up to 100 pounds. Yay. Yeah, I mean, you can get your protein in a vegetarian diet, because eggs exist, dairy products. I could do that, but I couldn't be a vegan. Number one, because I'm not malicious and don't want animals in the wild to chew on each other. I would rather save some of them from that fate. And number two, because it's not sustainable. It is impossible to be a vegan without supplements unless you want to become sickly. So you're either getting animal extracts anyway, or you're getting something made in the laboratory, mainly by people who are eating meat anyway, so there's no point to veganism. And also, I have noticed, vegetarians are relatively mundane about their vegetarianism. They might tell you, like, hey, I'm a vegetarian, so I can't eat the steak. Okay. A vegan will be like, how dare you eat the steak? I'm a vegan. By the way, it's been 5 minutes. Did I mention that I was a vegan? I practice veganism. You should too. And it gets it's almost like a religion or something at times. By the way, this is something that 99% of you don't know. There was occult literature over 100 years ago that mentioned the concept of veganism, actually. And it was eugenic in nature. And it mentioned the fact that the human race, in order to usher in the new age and achieve enlightenment, needed to transfer to vegetarianism and then eventually to veganism, and get rid of all animal products. There's also a Besant work, that's from a little bit later, but it's, I guess, almost 100 years. This says the same thing. Yes, the Theosophists were champions of this. Also, they stood against sexual education in schools. I don't know. But yeah, I don't believe in veganism. I believe that veganism is a bad thing. If you don't want to eat meat, there are plenty of other protein sources, but they have to be animal related, because otherwise your body cannot synthesize. We're not herbivores. We are obligate omnivores. We're incapable of surviving on a vegan diet. Tomes Esquire, just to clarify, are you alleging that it's a complete coincidence that the day after you nod off on his live stream is when Jeremy said he could no longer afford to have you on the show? Well, Gothix is gone as well. That never happened to her. And I queried him with regards to the situation, and he told me several of his staff have also been let go. So yeah, it actually is a coincidence. Believe it or not. Sigil, organized religion is like a housing authority. When it's well run, it'll make a nice neighborhood, but let an obese shitlib get into power and things get all fucked up. Yeah. King of Biltong, vegans also damage electric vehicles. Yeah, that's the, isn't that an irony? That the people that are most likely to be like vegan and shit and do like the street art graffiti and stuff, they're the ones that are attacking the Teslas. Let's have more biltong. Fucking love it. Yeah, that one was a little bit too salty. Damn, Anton, you're right. Sometimes it's a little bit too salty. You gotta control yourself. A little bit of Bovrite goes a long way, let me tell you. Meat is the answer, says Over Easy Mode. See, I have no problem with vegetarians. By the way, watch Troll 2 when you get a chance. If you ever get a chance to watch Troll 2, it's one of the funniest movies, unintentionally funny, by the way, at times, ever to exist. It has nothing to do with the original Troll movie, by the way. Timony, hi, is biltong a recommended snack? It is 100% endorsed by the Clank Nation, absolutely. Doesn't matter which one you get, by the way. They're all tasty. I'm partial to the Carbonasi, and the Wagyu is good as well. But I also like getting the Bovrite and all of these spreads and stuff. I've got goji berries. Anton has a very eclectic collection of different foods. Sigil, oh my god! Yeah, I love that scene. Fragile Wolf, was the fecal exit after the chip challenge? It was spicy. Not as bad as I figured, though. I had terrible, terrible indigestion, but then I drank milk, and generally I felt better. Yeah, Groomer Fist. I don't agree with you on that one. I like the quartering. I have no problem with him whatsoever. Fully support his show. And there are things that we've disagreed upon, but I felt that our interactions were generally positive, and he helped me out in a very dark time, so I sort of owe him a little bit of credit for that now, don't I? Not every person would do that for a co-host on their YouTube live show. Let's put it that way. One tall order. I do believe in Christianity, and my impression is that a system must be divine, which has survived so much insane mismanagement. G.K. Chesterton. Never heard of him. Cygnus. Now he has new guests. You are ghosted by Jeremy's quarter meat. No, I don't think that's what happened. I think that he realized that if he's going to pay back the enormous amount of debt that he took out, he was going to have to release some of the people that he was paying on the reg and simply have guests aboard because his audience is large enough for him to do that. So he can reach out to other people and get them aboard, and he doesn't necessarily have to pay them or pay them as much. I don't know, and I don't care because that's his business. I'm not going to badmouth the dude. I hate how people are always constantly trying to get me to badmouth Jeremy. It's like, Jesus H. Christ. It's like if I had someone, let's say that I had a co-host on my channel, and I determined that I was incapable of continuing to pay them, and pay them, I can pay them biltong, I guess, or something like that. Hook them up with Anton. And then I, say, look, can't do the co-host thing, but I still have, people on as live guests or something like that. If people were bad-mouthing me for doing so, I'd say, look, if I can't pay you, I can't pay you. It's not physically possible. What are you talking about? Sticks, is there a statue of Stolas anywhere in the world? There are plenty of owls around Rutland. If you go to Loose Lunas, you'll find one on the ceiling, actually. There's an old fresco. If you go into the downtown in general, outside of that one red brick building, there's another owl. There was a snow owl that was made in the park when there was still snow and ice, and they were doing the ice carving, actually. Owls are everywhere. All you have to do is look for them. Stolas is everywhere. My friend. And I love it. Every time I see an owl painting or something like that, I get a good chuckle. Just like every time someone says arg to me or something like that. Yeah, Stolas is real. It's just that people don't believe in such things. No, only in their own religious sense. One tall order. I do believe... Oh, I already read that one. It didn't go to the bottom. Sigil. Tell that honorless... Oh, honorless. I thought at first that you were genuinely mad at him and didn't want to read it out, but this is a joke. Tell that honorless tard Razor Fist I challenge him for first mate. Thatless only. Moskovich. Stolas is always with me. I could tell you some stories, but you would all believe me to be insane, so I won't tell them. Not yet. Don't worry, you'll hear them in the future. It'll be funny. 8th Cavalry, ahoy, matey! Arr, have you ever been to Treasure Island before? I got my treasure all over the place over here on the desk. Arr, ha ha ha. Plenty of it, too. Now is not the time to disclose certain spiritual aspects of my life. Razor Fist has not been felted, Bobby. Sigilstone, Targ, not Tard, not a typo. What does Targ mean? I've never heard that term before. Turtle's Toy Box. Demons are friends to no mortal. Don't fall prey me, dude. Who says that I'm mortal? We'll put it that way. Targ. I don't know what Targ means. I have a feeling there's going to be a good bit of rain soon because I can hear the spring peepers out there. And normally they only come out at night. Yeah, they're waiting for the rain. Animals are good to observe because they know things that humans generally don't. Tenerife, Sticks, have you ever witnessed objects materialize out of thin air? I take the 5th on this. Sigil, it's a hog-like creature Klingons keep like dogs. Oh, so it's sort of similar to a warg, like from Lord of the Rings? I don't know. Not a huge fan of Star Trek. I like the original from, way, way back in the day, with Kirk. I didn't like any of the others, really. And the movies were a little bit on the campy side for me. But, yeah, the original series was pretty fun. Watched that as a kid on, TV Land or some shit like that. I liked The Trouble with Tribbles. That was the funniest thing at the time that I had ever seen, actually, other than Gilligan's Island, of course, which I'm obsessed with. Yeah, Trouble with Tribbles. That was hilarious, actually. That was one of the most low-rated, apparently, in that series. I'm like, it's fucking hilarious. What are you talking about? The whole point of the series is to be campy. But later on, the campiness became like CGI and stupid shit like that, and so I just didn't like it. Kirk over Picard, by the way. Turtles. I gotta make a new Styx meme now, I suppose. Vampirate. Highlander looks like. Open to suggestions. Yeah, if you want to run an image of me through, Grok or something like that and say, turn this into a gothic vampirate or something, go ahead. I'm game. Just make sure to send it to me. Sounds fun. Targs are much smaller than wargs. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I really didn't... Post-Kirk era, I really didn't watch any of the other episodes, or I don't remember. Maybe I watched them and I just don't remember because they weren't as memorable. It's like when Leonard Nimoy died. I remembered him more from In Search of and Ancient Mysteries than from anything Star Trek related. One subscriber actually sent me his autobiography. Sigil Stone, Targs are dog-sized and tend to be ill-tempered as fuck because, of course, that's what a Klingon would have for a pet. Pluto TV has multiple Star Trek channels if you want to get into it. No, I don't think that I need to get into series and stuff like that. I watch movies occasionally, or mainly I spin up the vinyl and I just listen to music while shitposting on Twitter. Honestly, I'm not that into TV. Oh, the mail came. Anyways, I should probably go offline now. I've got to do a little bit of news docketing, and I've got some other stuff to do at some point. I should probably actually eat some solid food. It's highly recommended if you intend to survive. And, yeah, I'm be having meat later, so vegans, suck it. That's what I'm talking about. I'll talk to you tomorrow. That's about all. Peace out.